Among Kanto's 3 starters, only one would truly dominate the wild. Not in battle, not with a trainer, but in the real jungle, where survival depends only on instinct, hunger, endurance, and raw strength, surrounded, starving, and with no one there to choose the next move. Which one would actually survive long enough to evolve and become the strongest? Charmander seems like the obvious choice. Its fire is intimidating from the very beginning, and its evolutionary line carries aggression, presence, and offensive power. In a short fight, few would want to get too close. But the same flame that makes it dangerous is also one of its greatest weaknesses. In the dark, from a distance, Charmander becomes an easy target. To escape, it often relies on smokescreen, using the confusion to keep larger enemies from getting too close. And there is an even bigger problem. Its flame must be protected. Strong winds, storms, and constant exhaustion make its early stage extremely dangerous. Charmander is omnivorous and can feed on almost anything in the forest. If it survives that stage, everything changes. Charmeleon becomes a true combat machine with a far stronger flame, more aggressive, more confident, and far more capable of protecting its own fire. And when it reaches Charizard, the entire balance shifts. It takes control of the skies, expands its range, and stops being fragile like a Charmander, becoming an absolute threat instead. At its final stage, its power is no longer just about survival. It is about domination. Squirtle, on the other hand, does not enter battle to impress. From a young age, defense is its greatest strength. Its shell is one of the biggest advantages among the 3 starters, but while it is still small, it is also slow, leaving it vulnerable to aerial predators, especially in the moments when it has to surface, breathe, or feed. That weakness is balanced out in the water, where its speed becomes far greater. Its survival depends heavily on the environment around it. Well-positioned Squirtle can make it through that difficult early stage and evolve. As Wartortle, it gains far more resources and far more power. Wartortle becomes stronger and more confident moving outside the aquatic environment. It can use its entire body more effectively in combat. Its speed is solid, and its water attacks become extremely powerful, strong enough to stop Pokémon that are already fully evolved. Wartortle can also fight more aggressively at close range, using the force of its powerful aquatic tail. And with time, it gains the experience needed to reach its final form, Blastoise. At that point, defense and power move together. It no longer simply survives the environment, it begins to dominate it. In certain areas, a Blastoise can control an entire river as if it were its own territory. It drives away possible threats from smaller Pokémon. It protects entire broods of Squirtle, allowing them to grow under the safety of a true guardian. Blastoise is defense and power. Bulbasaur is the most balanced of the 3. It feeds mainly on sunlight and small plants. Bulbasaurs usually live in small groups to increase their chances of survival. With its vines, it has powerful control-based attacks. With its powders, it can poison small intruders and lesser threats. It can also use those powders to put intruders to sleep. Once strong enough, it uses Leech Seed to take on even larger threats. One of its greatest weaknesses is that without sunlight, food is not easy to find. It is also highly vulnerable to fire-type Pokémon and avoids them whenever possible. Even so, in the forest, its greatest predators are often aerial. If it survives, Ivysaur begins to take the lead. Its nourishment still comes mainly from the sun. Confident enough for longer journeys, groups of Ivysaur migrate together in search of a permanent home. Its powders become even more effective now, capable of stopping even aerial threats. A group of Ivysaur will grow together until one of them becomes a venusaur. Venusaur, however, is not just strong, it becomes living territory. Heavy, resilient, and venomous, it is capable of turning an entire area into a forbidden zone. And more than simply surviving, it supports the survival of everything around it. It uses its pollen to bring life to the forest and create a healthy environment for the young. It battles great threats to protect its group, never caring if it may be wounded in the process. The group matters most. A venusaur can keep a forest protected for years. Wild Charmander endure through hardship. Squirtle survive by adapting. Bulbasaur thrive through the strength of the group. But which one is your favorite? And which one would you choose? Next episode, we journey into Johto to meet its starters. See you next time.